welcome to the Funhouse Church today. I have some really great scripture that I want to read to you, but I was thinking the other night about an experience that happened to me, because I've always been singing secular music, and then I've always also done a lot of Christian music, and visited lots of churches and done different concerts that were just all Christian music and so on and so forth. And many years ago I was visiting in another neighboring state, and I had been invited to come and sing for this Christian concert. And the promoter who had invited me had made several promises that didn't happen, and so as it turned out, we ended up, the girl that was traveling with me and was assisting me, she and I ended up having to be guests at someone else's home, which was not at all what we were supposed to do, but we tried to make the best of it, and it was just a complete nightmare throughout this whole experience. But I'm still trying to do the right thing, and the band was not very friendly to me, and it was just a really strange, awkward situation. So I kept praying, God, let me do the right thing. Let me make sure I don't lose my temper, which I'm known to have, and say the wrong thing or offend someone or not do the right thing. Well, as it turned out, right before I was to go on stage, we were rained out, so concert had to stop. So that was an answer to prayer for me, because of the attitude with the band and so on and so forth. And then later I was asked by some of the people who had been there just to see me if I would sing a couple of songs back in the area that they had come to see if they could just get an autograph. And I said sure. So I got my guitar out and I sang a couple of songs for them and visited and signed some autographs and things for them. And the promoter walked over, and he was just very angry that I had done that, so I was confused by that. So we were supposed to sing another day, and so I prayed about this all night, and I thought, oh my goodness, I just don't know how to manage this, because I don't feel like I should be here. So the next morning we got up, and I said, I think I'm going to go ahead and just leave, because this is not at all what we had agreed to do. And the girl that was with me, she had already packed her bag, and my bag was packed, and I said, we're going to go ahead and leave. And so the lady that was hosting us was very upset and wanted to call the promoter. I said, well, you can call him, but I'm not staying. We're leaving. And so we left. And we had no idea where we were. I was driving. And for some reason, just out of, I don't know how it happened, but somehow when we found ourselves, we were up on the interstate, so we knew exactly where we were going. And I realized that just by the prayer that I had found myself in this situation, that God had kind of lifted us out of that situation, put us back on the path that we were supposed to be on. And so we left, and then he never called or anything. Of course, I didn't get paid or anything, but sometimes you can find yourself in some strange situations, and you just have to depend on God to get you through it. And the scripture came to me as we were driving down the highway, because I had asked her to drive. I said, you drive so I can try to figure out a way for us to get out of here, because I've always kind of prided myself on being pretty good with directions for a female. But when we got on the interstate, I had my Bible in my lap, because I thought, when you're under such duress, you need to really stay within the spirit realm. I know this sounds really strange, but I hardly ever tell stories like this. But anyway, this is the scripture that came to me. And when I eventually did get a letter from this guy, I sent him this scripture. And it goes like this. It's in Mark chapter 6, verse 9, 10, and 11. It says, and this is Jesus speaking, and he's talking to, giving the mission to the 12 disciples. And he says, and he said unto them, In what place soever ye enter into an house, there abide till you depart from that place. And whosoever shall not receive you, nor hear you, when ye depart thence, shake off the dust under your feet for a testimony against them. Verily I say unto you, it shall be more tolerable for Sodom and Gomorrah in the day of judgment than for that city. Now I set that whole story up to say, when we go out to try to be a blessing and to do the right thing, and people won't receive you properly, and they misconstrue everything you've tried to do for them, and they don't hold up their end of it, of the deal or the bargain, or whatever the negotiation is, the best thing to do is pray about it and then stand your ground, because if we don't stand up for what is right and do what is right, then we'll end up being abused. But that's not necessarily, it's not at all actually what we should allow people to do to us. So that all being said, I just wanted to share that story with you to let you know that even I have had situations come up on me that I never would have dreamed. And I never would have thought this particular person that I knew through a relative of mine would put me in a situation like that. But I forgive them and realized that maybe they were used to doing that to other people, because I had observed him doing some things like that to some of the other people that were there, which could have made the band have the attitude toward me when I'm just there innocently trying to do the right thing. So always try to do the right thing as long as you're able. And then if you can't continue on with a situation, then leave and just get out of there. Shake the dust off your feet and move on. That's what I did. So that's my little lesson for you today. And God bless you, and I love you. I'll see you next week.